Hey, it's Zach Baxter at the Knights of the Drunk Watch. We're back here for our After Talk recap of American Horror Story Episode 6 titled Midwest Assassin.
Woohoo!
They did not say the title anywhere in the episode.
No,
They did not.
No, they didn't.
That's true.
Oh, well, happens.
Okay, we're going to introduce ourselves really quickly.
I'm Zach.
I'm Audie.
I'm Andrew.
And back there is Mark. He may or may not join in.
I'm Mark. I might add a comment or two.
I never have drinks for this. We are the Knights of the Drunk Watch.
And
now our talk begins.
Audie's a little inebriated tonight.
I've been drinking a bit tonight, folks.
If you're listening to us on The Horror Returns, we are minus a Kate and we're minus a Crystal, but we did gain an Audie.
Yes, I'm back, and I have taken notes this time, so hopefully the lovely Kate will not be disappointed in my note-taking.
Timer?
Yes, I think I did.
Let's start a timer.
I did. It started.
Okay, so let's start. I'm not going to go into the first bit because we're going to talk about that at the end. So first thing we have as a note is Allie's balls drop.
Yeah, I guess she...
Kind of, sort of, maybe.
Yeah, no,
I feel like they dropped
did.
a little tonight.
I think they did. I think somewhere she realized, I guess last episode, that she has been... This is all fake. This has all been
I mean, in the course of this episode, she went from like locking every door in her house, which she's been doing for 6 episodes, to taking a lady on the run and like going out and reaching out to people and trying to make a difference.
Well, and she's really standing up for herself now.
Yeah.
And she's able to say, no, this is real. No, this is fake.
Yeah.
So now she's able to delineate fiction from nonfiction. Is this supposed to give us like a seizure?
I don't know. It's really empowering though that she's finally like not being the character we've hated this whole season, and she's
that's my problem. It's like when we were introduced to Allie, she went straight to the crazy, whiny, what the heck is wrong with you, woman, and so we didn't care about her. If she'd been more like in her marriage, oh, I've got some phobias, da 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 da, but I'm dealing with it.
Do I have a sample under there?
Yeah.
To where we to where we're like we learned to like her, and then as she started getting crazier because she got hit by clowns and then it aggravated her whole phobia, we would have felt sorry for her, but we went straight to her being aggravated.
But I think that
aggravated me. I don't know about the rest of you.
No, I know, but I think that was a point. That was the point of the character was. You're not supposed to she's just a whiny white woman.
Well, I think Ryan Murphy is creating these archetypes that we like jump to conclusions about other people as, like the whole snowflake concept and the whole like anti-illegals concept. Like he's creating these archetypes that exist in our mind and in American culture, and then he's starting to turn them on their head a little bit. At least with Allie, he is. I feel like he took her from being a whiny snowflake that we all hated to somebody we were really rooting for in one episode.
But that also gave her room to grow, because now we know that majority of what she was whining about was actually real.
Yeah.
And they were purposefully doing these things to elicit that reaction. So she's not completely crazy. She's just falling. She's just gullible, I guess. Mm-hmm. But now she's not so gullible, even though she doesn't know the whole story yet.
Yeah, I don't feel like she can be as easily manipulated, and a good example of that is the scene she has with Dr. Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Where she's
Dr.
like,
Vincent.
Dr. Vincent, sorry. Where she's just
read
like,
him.
fuck you.
Yeah, she was able to read the situation and be like, no, you're trying to put me in the
You're
hospital.
trifling.
Yeah, but she still doesn't know the whole... She thinks she knows everything, but she was, as we learned at the end, which I'm sure we'll get to, she was actually playing along with what they wanted her to do.
Yeah.
It was like a mousetrap. They were just guiding her.
They did, yeah. We'll talk more about that later, but they are still manipulating her, so that's true.
Well, if we get back to Dr. Vincent, I'll say it. Try to remember.
Yes, we'll talk about that a little later. The next bit that I have that's big is Kai's competitor. The lady who is now dead in one episode. She showed up and then was dead. I don't remember her name either. She introduced herself.
Kate's on here, so we can't get names. Right?
Yeah, I don't know her name.
I have a comment about that alleged suicide. Well, you're on that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're trying to set up a suicide, but like, do you think the cops are not going to notice that like all of these windows are smashed in? That someone clearly broke in?
Okay, But
I mean, they might have cleaned that up.
But one of them is a cop.
yeah, Detective Rolf is a cop.
So
And he was there. She's like, I got this.
Yeah.
And
Right.
but that's part of the problem is
The
they
cops
have-
are in on it.
everybody is there's a little corner of every world that's corrupt.
Yeah.
And he can
The
weasel
media
through.
is in
Yep.
on it. So I guess that speaks to Kai and how smart he was about choosing his people. Because Meadow, in her conversation with Allie, talks about how he has to choose you. But he's not choosing people that are going to follow him in a cult. He's choosing tools that he can
gonna
use to
serve him.
advance himself.
And I think Meadow had it right. She was right on the nail when she was leaving, saying, "This is all about you.
Right.
It's not that we're just the tools, and that's what everyone's just a tool." Harrison's
But
the
they all
muscle,
believe in them.
Detective Rolf is the cops. Beverly's the media. Meadow was, I don't know, she was just
Bonkers.
a-
And Ivy is his gateway into fear. And I think that brings us to our next bit. So we didn't talk much about Kai's competitor, but we can talk about her when we get to the next bit. But the next bit is Ivy hating Allie about Baby
I
Oz.
can't talk about this.
Ugh.
I have
It's-
such.
It's really upsetting.
It's- I'm glad. I mean, it's good writing.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. That's
Well,
great.
so-
I just
so
don't
now
like.
this is the thing, and I don't know if this is something we have to go back and check. So, Allie gave birth to Oz, but she talks about how Ivy talks about how she couldn't do it because of her endometriosis.
Endometriosis.
Does that mean that Oz is her biological child? That Allie was a surrogate?
We don't have that information. Like, if Allie
Well,
was
That's
like...
true.
I think that
Oh my
information
God, is this
might have
holiday
been in
pet?
that scene, but we don't watch
Yeah.
closely enough.
We were too drunk for that.
Others would want to do if they want.
So you think they took Ivy's egg and
Ivy's egg, and
And
she
some
couldn't
random
carry a
person's sperm.
child, and then so
I don't
they
think it's
impregnated
random.
Allie, and Allie was the surrogate.
So
You
both
think
of
that
them.
Oz's dad matters?
could
Like
be.
who
It
the
could
sperm
be.
donor
I mean,
is?
we have enough episodes. It could be.
Yeah. That's
Because
true.
She wants to carry. I mean, I guess being a mother is a very
But, I mean,
something she wanted to
But
do.
if it's from a sperm, I mean, if it's from a sperm bank, I mean, how are we gonna know?
Yeah, I don't think... We'll see. We'll see. I'm not saying no, that's not going to come into play because good writing would bring it into play, but then, like, it wouldn't be bad writing if they did
right.
bring it into play.
If
So
it
it's just
doesn't
sort
affect
of
the total.
It's
plot
an
line.
existing variable
Right.
that we don't really have anything to say about, but...
But just the pure resentment that she had, the contempt she had towards
It's...
Allie, just because she carried the baby, like.
She didn't get.
But
to
it's a
birth
really
it,
fascinating...
And then, like, she wanted to feed the baby, and Allie was being a little bit of a bitch about this.
I don't
Yeah, but they
think
could have had a
so.
conversation and
I
avoided
don't
this
think
whole
so.
cult joining thing.
Yeah, well, like
I
she was
don't
like,
think she was
okay,
being a
just like
bitch.
pump her, and then let me give him a bottle. No, he doesn't want a bottle. Just give her to me. Give him to me. I mean,
But I agree with. She's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I just see pumping as like when I'm not available, there is, you know what I mean? Like,
I
see,
just
I think
have
the flip
to...
side of it is you are my lover, and I will help. You know, I get to feed the baby all the time. Let's get some
I
pumped
think
milk so you can feed the baby.
I'm starting to see the real snowflake is Ivy.
Yeah, I
Because
have to agree with
She
that.
was triggered by. She said my baby, but it's really my baby too. It's like, but that's.
But I also think
Come
it's
on. That
like-
just seems.
in terms of storytelling, I think it's a really interesting aspect of that type of relationship that I never really considered. You know, like as a woman, especially, you know, I this feeling exists. Women who are barren have resentment towards women who, not all of them, but
Right.
some of them have resentment towards women who can bear. It's a natural feeling. How they deal with that or how they react to that, you know,
Right.
is up to each person. But that feeling exists, and then
Yes,
in terms of a
you're
like lesbian relationship, it's just really fascinating. It's an aspect that I never really considered. That's really
But I don't
brilliant for
think
Brian
it's-
Murphy to grab a hold of.
I don't think it's fair to her to put all that on.
No,
Allie.
it's totally
And they're
not
like,
fair.
I hate my wife.
And no, it's super
want
wrong, and
her
she's
dead.
bonkers that she wants
and
her dead.
Jill
but
Stein.
but people have really strong feelings about things, and if they're
Wow.
weak, if they're inherently weak, which I believe
Well,
Ivy is,
Ivy is clearly.
they will, they will go to these lengths because Kai doesn't prey on people that are strong. Kai preys
That's
on
true.
people that are weak.
That's true.
We can be
All right, what's the next
manipulated.
nugget? We got 5
Okay,
minutes.
sorry. Next nugget is Dr. Cheyenne, Allie, and Meadow.
Well, we still don't know what Dr. Dr.
We don't know if he's like involved in the cult or if he's like an innocent bystander.
That's the last piece of the puzzle because he was talking to Meadow, not liking who she was. It could have been like faking it because he's in the shadows, but she received that call from Kai. They had no expectation
and
that
she lied
Allie
to him.
would take Meadow to Dr. Vincent. And she got the call from Kai and just saw that he called, and then was like, I gotta go. So because she obviously we now know was on her mission.
Right.
So it wasn't like so there wasn't even like a pause and a cutaway to did she say I've got to go and do your brother's bidding, or did she? She just said I got to go and left.
I think it's very likely that Dr. Vincent is not involved because from what we remembered about the scene where the parents died and all that happened, like he was very pragmatic. He was like, "Here's what's going on with the money. Here's what we need to do in order to survive." Like he didn't seem, like he was open to fancy.
He's definitely handing his patients over to Kai. Somehow he's communicating with Kai.
Oh yeah, there is that whole bit with the phobia.
We know that there's a connection. We just don't know how it's being made. Is Kai going in and reading his notes?
Probably, right.
And what is?
I think it's more direct than that.
The other thing that we never saw in this whole thing is Vincent's relationship with Winter. Like so far, we've only seen Winter's relationship with Kai and Vincent's relationship with Kai. We have not seen those two come together
Maybe
at
they're
all.
the same person.
Somebody's the same person.
Somebody's the same person.
Kai and who?
But like
no, Vincent and Winter.
And clearly, they're trying to. I'm sure Ivy recommended Dr. Vincent to Allie.
Right.
He's really good. He's really attractive.
Right, because this goes back to right after the election.
Right.
She went to Dr. Vincent after she started spiraling again.
Right.
Though, of course, she went to see Dr. Vincent. And that's when we first saw it was after that first time we saw them that she had her first clown attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I really,
The first clown attack was the supermarket,
store.
right?
The supermarket. That was after her session. She went to the supermarket.
2 minutes.
So 2 minutes. So the last thing we're going to talk about is the shooting, obviously, which is it was fairly disturbing. I think mostly in light of what happened last week. Like for me, it was overly disturbing because of what just happened. But I don't feel like it was so disturbing that I couldn't watch it. Of course, I wasn't involved.
I mean, I don't know exactly if you have the FX now app. Maybe
I'm gonna check it out on the FX app now to see what the difference is.
We watched it on demand through Xfinity, which is not the same now as what FX was advertising. So we saw the edited version, which I thought was more than enough
to maybe trigger people. So I'm wondering what maybe they cut out some blood splatter,
maybe there were
things like
there
that.
was more like they were able to trim it to where you see Meadow shoot, but then you see a close up of like the person being shot.
We have to really talk about like Meadow's psychology and what kind of person she was she was like, I'm gonna leave, and then she wasn't. She was just a completely useless person.
Remember,
pathetic.
Her fear was never being touched by a man again. And they had sex in that closet, and he gave her what she wanted.
Yeah.
So she was ready to die for him.
He's very smart about the way he manipulates.
100% manipulated that one sentence.
You do understand the timeline, that the whole thing, from her running over there and saying it's a cult, everyone's in the cult, that was all
It's all bullshit,
discovering her in the grave, that was all...
Yep.
They...
Making sure they got away. Well, maybe that wasn't planned.
I think she meant for her to get away.
Because she told, it was after they got away, like after Meadow got caught and she went and rescued her from the garage. Mm-hmm. That's when she told her more information.
Yeah. It was all about getting her to that point of the shooting.
They wanted Allie to have all the information so that when Allie was the only one who could say, no, it's this, this, and this, and this, they'll say, you're crazy.
And she has a record of
which is now
psychosis.
Really interesting. So first of all, like brilliant of Kai for him to be combining like what Ivy wanted with what he wanted with what Meadow wanted. Like he's that's like some, little finger level of planning.
It's good.
And, okay, so we're almost out of time. But I do have to, I just want to take a second to talk about, like, what we think is going to happen next in terms of this shooting and Allie's, like, part in it. Do you think they think she did it?
No, because I was talking to Andrew. You weren't in the room. The SWAT was already walking down when
So they
Meadow
saw
killed herself.
Meadow.
So
They will question her.
like Andrew
Well,
said,
what they saw is 2 hands or 4 hands on a gun and someone shot in the head.
Right.
But somebody in the audience has
Right,
to have
it's like
seen
Andrew
Unless
said,
everyone
they're
at
gonna
the
arrest-
rally,
is paid.
is paid by Kai.
yeah.
That would be a twisted little thing.
Well, I mean, he paid all the other protesters,
Yeah.
so why not these guys?
So, like Andrew said, the person with the gun, of course, is going to get arrested.
right, but they did.
Everybody around her is dead.
Right.
So, I don't know. I mean,
Well, it may not be that they're going to charge her with the shooting, but the fact that everything else that she's going to say in connection with telling them that
Gonna
she
sound
wasn't the one
crazy.
is going to sound crazy.
And then Ivy, who
she's
would never be
committed.
allowed custody, now gets custody of Oz.
wow.
And then next week we've got Frances Conroy showing
I'm
up
ready
with
for
her
Frances
weird
Conroy.
coven of like man-murdering feminists or whatever.
Well, the thing is, he's out of commission for hours or a day.
Right, and we
And
definitely
Beverly already
think
broke him down.
we definitely think this is the rise of Beverly, unless this is again Kai being smarter than everybody else, and he played Beverly. He showed vulnerability to reel her in and give her a false sense of security. So
Why would he want
it
her
could be a double play, If he's been this smart about reading people until now,
but he
he
can't
could be reading Beverly
He can't
as
be
well.
omnipotent and know everything that's going to happen.
Well, it's not about omnipotence. It's about him seeing somebody
Him
else trying to
understanding what
explode
people
his own
want,
weakness.
and he might already intuit that Beverly wants
power.
Right, and that she wants to best the best.
I don't know.
I mean, because she's
That's-
already. Well,
I think you just don't think Ryan
well,
Murphy's that smart.
I mean, she's already come to him and like kind of laid out like, oh, we need to like. kill
She's
this
trying to
person,
test him for
da-da-da.
power, and he cares about power.
But where?
That's
so
what he
that's
cares
almost
about.
saying like he has no
He
weakness.
wants to be Donald Trump, Drink.
I mean, he has to have a weakness.
I'm not saying it's necessarily wrong, like he's lying to them about what actually happened, but
Right,
it's
no.
very possible that her perceived power over him is only perceived.
So leave us a comment in the section below and tell us what you think the dynamic between Beverly and Kai is going to be.
Because that's
going
going
to
be the major power struggle next,
That's
I think.
Well, apparently, that's what
That's
it looks
my
like.
guess.
And Frances Conroy is back.
Woohoo! We're going to be
I'm
drinking
ready
the
for
Frances
Frances
Conroy.
I just watched her today in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh,
where
I
she
love
talks
her
about
as Barney's
Jesus.
mom.
Good.
All right, so thank you so much to the Horror Returns for having us on their podcast. You can go see their, you can go listen to their podcast at podbean.com/The Horror Returns,
Subscribe.
or on their Facebook page. Also, if you like our content and you're listening to us on a podcast, that is the sync going, not Steam. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would love for you to be part of our Patreon community and give us $1, and there you'll see exclusive content from the Nights of the Drunk Watch. We'll be
Super professional dishwashing in the
professional.
background content.
And we will. Don't forget, Walking Dead starts in 2 weeks, and we will be here for.
It better be a damn good season, Ryan.
Whether-
not Ryan Murphy.
Well, yeah, can't blame Ryan Murphy for everything. Thanks, Obama.
No!
We will be
Great.
here, hell or high water, good or bad, overacting or not.
We'll be here to pick it apart
be-
if it's a disaster.
And then
Don't
we'll
worry.
take it to Comic Palooza.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get hated on at Comic Palooza. If you haven't checked out our Comic Palooza panels, please do, because they were a ton of fun,
It was a
and
lot of
people
fun.
got super drunk and they screamed a lot. So it's well worth
It was
watching.
great. All right, so Andrew, let's take us out.
We are the Nights of the Drunk Watch.
And now our talk is ended.
Good night, everybody.
See you next Tuesday.